Hey there everybody, my name is Trudy, known as One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading video for the week starting July the 13th through to the 19th, 2020. So let's start shuffling the cards. I'm going to go with the old Archangel Michael card deck first and see what comes up. If you're new to my readings, I use a different card deck for each day. No particular reason for that other than I like it. I know a lot of card readers like to use one deck consistently throughout the week or whatever period they're reading for. I like it because I like to see how different themes emerge despite using different card decks each day. So Monday's card is never not relevant. It is believe and trust. I'm sorry, there's a terrible reflection on this. I've just realized I've not chosen a good time of day to record this, but hopefully you can see that pretty clearly. So believe and trust is probably what underpins almost every reading I give, whether it's to all of you or whether it's a one-on-one with a client. So a lack of trust is huge for all of us. And I know you're probably thinking relationships, but it's not just in relationships it shows up. Often an inability to trust the universe is huge. It's what underpins so many of our fears. I want to go for this job and I think it would work out great, but it's too risky and there's too many things that can go wrong. It's an inability to trust the universe. I can't see how things are going to go out. How things are going to work out. There are no guarantees, therefore it's too scary for me. And I guess what it is about is understanding that we can't see the full picture and trying to make peace with that and deciding whether or not to go ahead anyway. And hopefully, if we know intuitively that something is right for us, really committing to that and going ahead with it, being able to trust that things will work out either the way we hope they will or a different way, but we will be okay regardless. We'll always get what we need. So it's about keeping the faith, I guess. And I think the problem is sometimes people think that means they have to know how things are going to work out in order to feel safe, and we just don't. So it's not about believing things are going to work out brilliantly. It's about believing you can deal with whatever happens. Did you see that card just jump out right into my lap? So we have, we actually have two cards. So this one here is Yvonne. It's about a bond with animals. This card often comes up for people who are thinking of a pet or an animal who's passed on and worried about that pet. And this card will come up to reassure them that that pet is okay and is still around them in whatever form, feels comfortable for you to believe in. So it's also sometimes coming up for people who have a really special bond with animals and are being called to work with that on a deeper level, whether that be in their professional life, as a volunteer, in their personal life. So just really understanding that the way that you understand animals is very special to you, and to work with that if you want to, of course. Everything's up to you. You're in charge of your life, not the universe. Second card here is Vanessa. I always find this angel's pose a little bit weird, but anyway, it's about making decisions. And let me read this to you. To make your decision, ask yourself, which way brings me closer to my divine purpose? Which way takes me away from it? So if you are facing a decision right now, or you're coming up to a time when you'll have to make one, the way to make it is, what feels right for me? What feels right in my heart? Throw out that pros and cons list. Although it has its uses, it's going to just often just confuse you more and take you further away from what you know instinctively is right, because you're going to be too guided by things like, what is guaranteed here? What is the most likely outcome? How will this look to other people? What will people say about me? What will be the cost to me? And actually what we need to be looking at is, what do I know is right for me? I'm so sorry about this. Every dog in the neighborhood has started barking. Maybe it's to do with that animals card. So here we have Wednesday's card, which is let your inner beauty shine. I think I've spoken about a similar message recently. There is a lot of focus in our society about exterior appearances, and in a universal sense, a spiritual sense, the way you look doesn't matter. And it's not to say that you can't take pride in your appearance or be really interested in beauty. It's just saying, please don't see those things as being aligned with your worth and your value. In other words, don't see yourself as less than because you don't look like someone else. Really celebrating what beauty really means, which is the things that make us beautiful are the way we've adapted to things that have happened to us, the way we've learned lessons and changed our lives, the way we've stepped forward in the face of adversity and made necessary changes, letting go of the shackles that we've been in for whether those be societal expectations or convention or whatever. So really understanding your worth as it is right now, not striving to feel I have to lose weight to be loved, to be seen as special, to be valuable. In actual fact, seeing that you already are valuable, and nothing about the way you look can influence that for better or worse ever. So here's Thursday's card here, prioritize. I'm just noticing a bit of a link here in the imagery, just that purpleness of the angel. Purple is one of Archangel Michael's colours, although he's certainly not the only one who uses it. So that could be what it is. This card is actually for Archangel Metatron, who's one of the archangels, but not associated with this particular card deck. So the message is prioritize, and it's about some real grounded, which as you know I love, real grounded approach. So looking at what is important to me, what am I doing? Because remember, the things that you do are what makes a statement about who you are, what you value, what you want to accomplish in this lifetime. So if you are spending your time on social media and complaining about things all the time, and no judgment, but you really have to think about, if if my life came to an end really quickly, would I be happy with the choices I've made? And I'm not saying every day has to count. Tons of days feel like there's nothing significant happening. Often those days there's something going on underneath that we don't know about that is getting us to a new point. But what I am saying is really look at the way you spend your time, remembering it's the one thing you cannot get back. And prioritize what is most important to me. Am I spending time on things that actually don't make a good statement about who I am and what I want? And how can I make better use of those resources that I have here and prioritize what is important? Getting organized, getting motivated, very Virgo-esque energy coming through here. And I think with Archangel Michael, that symbolism there, even though this card was not designed for him, I'm just sensing that that's what's coming through. Remembering this is my interpretation, and if you see things differently, by all means trust your judgment. That's so important. But the Michael thing is about giving us confidence and courage to do it, to really commit to making those changes that are necessary. And I'm shuffling for Friday. Yes, how did that happen? Treasure Island. Oh, I love this beautiful picture of this turtle. It's so lovely. I mean, the turtle is a symbol of moving slowly, not trying to race to get anywhere, taking our time, enjoying the journey. There is you probably can't see this very clearly, but there is actually a treasure trove on top of this turtle in the ocean, and some beautiful hearts coming out of it. And I think that the treasure is relative to what, similar to what I just said, what is most important to you? What do you treasure? And are you taking time to move slowly with that and to really fully appreciate it? It does speak to the idea of treasures ahead as well. If you can see this, the turtle is moving in a direction. It's on a journey. We're all on a journey, and maybe this is sort of speaking to the fact there may be some treasure at the end of that, which is not to say that you have to wait. We need to be still enjoying our lives in the meantime while on the journey, and realizing the journey is often more important than that destination anyway. But we have to. The journey is going to determine what happens in that destination. If we turn up somewhere expecting things to be perfect, that's going to be an issue, because we weren't paying attention all the way along when we were getting, clues that we might need to do things a bit differently. I hope that makes sense. Saturday's card here is the Ascended Masters. So one of the things that people often fail to realize about our guardian angels and about archangels is they have never been in human form. They have not walked the earth. So sometimes the advice they give us can be really difficult to apply in the real world model. So the reason I call myself One Grounded Angel was because I got really frustrated by how much, when I first started on my spiritual journey, how some of the messages just weren't easily adapted to the human experience. So that's one thing that is really important to me. So if I'm getting messages from angels that I can't really figure out, I'll often change my focus and start talking to Ascended Masters. They are people. They have been people. They have been people who have lived on earth and done something particularly, evolved. They've evolved a huge amount in a huge amount of time, and really lived their life purpose in a way that has been instructional and helpful to those around them and those of us who have followed. Mother Teresa, great example. So who else? We've got Muhammad, we've got Buddha, of course, enlightenment. We've got Kuan Yin, Jesus Christ, of course, Moses. So all these people have been people. So their advice, I find, is more likely to be relatable to the difficulties of being human, whereas angels can sometimes oversimplify and not factor in some of the struggles that we have to go through to get somewhere. So you may have a different experience. So with this card coming through, I think it's really important, what I'm getting is to focus on that bridge between heaven and earth, and really focusing on how can I integrate these messages into human form. And one of the best ways to do that is to ground yourself. So we can't reach upwards if we're not fully cemented in the earth. We can't integrate those messages into the real world experience of busy lives, etc., unless we're grounded. And one of the greatest ways to ground yourself is to spend time in nature regularly, to walk on the earth, on sand, on dirt. If it is safe to do so, please don't do this in your local public park. It's probably not safe. Maybe your own backyard would be better. On a regular basis, it really grounds you. And nature for sure is very good at this. I think that will help you if you are struggling to integrate the messages, you're asking for help and you're not understanding what's coming through. This will really help you. If you are feeling a connection with one of the Ascended Masters I've just named, or perhaps another one that I haven't, maybe this is an opportunity for you to work with them more closely, to work through the particular experience you may be having, the struggle that you might, or challenge you might be facing. We all want to rise, right? That's the whole, they're called Ascended Masters. We all want to rise, and we're going to need to go through the hard stuff to get up there. So that's what this is about, is making sure we're on that journey to go upwards. We are probably going to have to go down to get there, if that makes sense. As the saying goes, you can't get the fruits. Oh, you got to do the, I've forgotten, something about roots and fruits. You can't have the fruits if you don't go through the roots, or something like that. I'm going to stop this recording and remember it, probably. We'll blame Mercury for that. Anyway, so really focusing on the journey that you're on, if that speaks to you, and what work do you need to do to get there? Just be this card, that's not great. And yeah, maybe you need to talk to a different realm in the spiritual, in the heavens of the highest level of love and light, always. I'm not talking about darker energies, of course. I'm always talking about the light. And yeah, if don't go looking for a guide, that may mean you're trying too hard to find one, but just notice what's coming through for you, and whose story resonates. They will make their presence known if you've got someone around you who's trying to help you. But if that doesn't speak to you at all, just remember focusing on, how do I get further along in my journey? What do I need to deal with to get there? And really trusting that you have the ability to do that. Sunday, Dana, High Priestess. Here's that word high again. We're all about the rising this week, apparently. So this message says you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. This is about you as a light worker, I should say. So one of my favorite sayings is, the work you do on yourself is the work you do on the world. Every time I work with a client, every time I do these videos, I get something from it. Sometimes it's just the joy of being in the energy. Sometimes there is a lesson for me. Often, particularly in my one-on-one work, I come away learning something new for myself. So it's a mutual exchange of energy. So that's part of my life purpose, but it's not everybody's life purpose. So if you feel a calling to share your knowledge, to be some sort of coach or advisor or supporter professionally, as a side hustle, just with a friend of yours who's going through a hard time, it could be really at that micro level, then this is telling you you do have the knowledge to do that. You may not have all the answers right now, and that's okay, but you know enough to be of service right now. And remember, if you are helping people, you want to do it from a place of what is for their highest and greatest good, not what do I want them to do so I can feel safe about my own and comforted in my own beliefs. It's not about trying to take yourself out of the equation is important, but always still setting boundaries and not overextending to help them. That's not what we're here to do. So if you don't feel like you're a light worker, you don't feel like that's part of your life purpose to serve in some way, you might look at how else you could be helping people around you. And that could be, I mean, that's, the sky's the limit, really. They could be doing volunteer work. It could be supporting someone who needs you right now. It could be, it could even be expanding your own spiritual knowledge. Maybe that's what you need to do right now, more reading, more study, and then eventually that will lead up to an opportunity where you are called to use that to help people. When people share their stories, they give other people permission to share their stories too. So if you've ever been inspired, I'm not a big fan of the word inspired because I think it's totally overused, but I haven't got a better one right now. If you feel inspired by hearing someone's story of how they've overcome adversity, how they've learned something important, you're getting something from that, but they're getting something from it too. So maybe that could teach you about, maybe I could share my story with people. Maybe that would be helpful for them, not so that they can copy me, but so that they can realize that there are opportunities for them to grow and learn as well. So let's look at these cards. We have a bit of a theme around our spiritual journey and really stepping up on that. We also have a focus on understanding our own value and really making that a priority, to step into that, to develop it, and to act in a way that shows we know we have value and that we deserve good things, including time to ourselves and self-care. That's huge for affirming your value. I think those are really the main things to take from this. It's all about value. I think that's what's coming through for me, particularly with that Treasure Island message. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm aware I've gone a little bit off track here, but if you've watched my videos on the regular, you will know that's not uncommon. So as always, these cards are a guide for you. They are not something to be taken as an exact prescription. You must follow what feels right for you and interpret them in a way that feels right for you and resonates most. If you want something more tailored, more targeted, then please do reach out for a personal reading. I work over Zoom, so time zones, currencies are totally work-outable. And so you can do that via my website, www.onegroundedangel.com, and my email address is onegroundedangel@gmail.com. I also do energy healing work, which is for those of you who want to step more deeply into their spiritual path, whether that be as a light worker or just going through the roots, clearing all the mud, clearing the old traumas, limiting beliefs and fears so they can rise. You can do that also via the same website, going to the bookings form. So thanks everybody for watching. My Instagram is @OneGroundedAngel, and each card will be posted on there, or each 2 cards in the case of Tuesday. So you can get a little bit more clarity and a bit more depth on each card there. Thank you so much for watching.